for All Act, what a wonderful name. Just like the Patriot Act, just like all these other things that have a great name. It's for you, it's for society, it's going to benefit everybody, is what they say and what they want you to think. Whatever the stuff's named, it's usually exactly the opposite of what the government named it. The Patriot Act is anything but the Patriot Act. This Banking for All Act is going to be, in my opinion, anything but Banking for All Act. So it's this thing that they're pushing, and I don't believe it's been fully through yet, but it's actually being looked at, and in the three branches of government, it is called S.3571, Banking for All Act. One of the top things in it, to require member banks to maintain pass-through digital dollar wallets for certain persons and for other purposes. Well, how specific is that? Other purposes. Now you know exactly what it's going to be used for. I said that with heavy sarcasm. So I have said that the FedNow thing that they're going to push through, they want it enacted early 2001, early 2021, early 21, and that is still going forward, and then all of a sudden, magically, the Banking for All Act appears, and it has the same sort of timeline to it. So it says that maximum balances and shall pay interest at a rate not below the greater rate of interest or required reserves at the rate of interest on excess reserves. What is that? I'm just reading a part of it. So what they're saying here is the digital wallets, the pass-through digital dollar, shall, in quotes, pay interest at a rate not below the greater of the rate of interest on required reserves and at the rate of interest on excess reserves. What does that mean? Well, that means in this thing they have writing that says that you should not get charged account fees, you should not have a minimum balance, you should not have a maximum balance, but you will pay interest on the stuff that's in your digital dollar, is what I read from this. So anything you hold in your digital wallet, digital dollar, you will pay interest on. How does that work? Well, it's basically the same as negative interest rates, which they don't think they can get by with, so this is the way they're doing it. So basically, in a nutshell, you're keeping money with the Fed, or the Fed-approved bank, or your local bank that is now under the umbrella of the Fed doing this Banking for All Act. Now, whatever you have in there, you're going to be paying interest on. So if you have $10 in there, and it's in there a certain amount of time, that will soonly dwindle away, little by little, as they pull the interest from that. Why would they do that? Well, why would they do that? Because they're not getting what they think they're getting from inflation, what they think they deserve or need. It's not happening. They've been trying, and they want this from inflation because they think it's a necessity, it's necessary, which it absolutely is anything but, in my opinion. So this is a way to just sweep it under the rug so no one really sees it. They don't see the dirt, they don't see the grime, they don't see the stuff there. They walk over it on a pretty rug. That's what they're doing here. Well, it's not a big deal. I had $10 in there, now I have $10 and a fraction, $10. Well, I have almost $10. I have $9, 99 cents and a fraction of a penny, or a fraction of a cent. And then as days go on, it'll dwindle lower and lower and lower. I'll just read a couple little things I highlighted on this thing. And like I said, I'll attach this link below so you can read it yourself. It's a real quick read. It's a couple pages, a few pages, I should say. So the digital dollar wallets shall not include overdraft coverage. What does that mean? Well, you have a bank account, you have a checking account. If you have, they offer you free overdraft coverage, or you have a service of it, you're paying a little amount, whether it's annually, quarterly, monthly, so you have overdraft coverage. So if something comes up, something happens unforeseen, out of your control or some sort of fraud event happens, you overdraft, well, you have overdraft coverage. It's sort of like an insurance for overdrafts. This right here is saying the digital dollar wallets shall not include overdraft coverage. So that's telling me that if there's some sort of fraud event, something you got hacked, or if they pull out too much interest that you weren't expecting, then you overdraft, you're going to be paying for that. You'll be paying for that to the Fed, whatever the amount is. They don't have amounts here, but you're going to be paying an overdraft fee of that because you don't have any kind of coverage, any kind of insurance on that. They're not allowing it. So pass-through Fed accounts maintained by the member bank on behalf of the Federal Reserve. So now you have a local bank, your bank down the block, just in the town next to you, you've been banking there forever. Now it's going to be a mandate or a law that they have to go along with this. They have to abide by this. So now they have to answer the Federal Reserve on a whole different level, a whole different scale. So pass-through Fed accounts maintained by the member bank on behalf of the Federal Reserve. So the member bank is not helping you at all. They don't have the option to do that. They're maintaining it on behalf of the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve just steps out and lets the other banks and all these other things do their dirty work as they accrue all this interest and all these, they're not really fees, they're not calling them fees, but it's just a huge interest, I think, because you figure a fraction of a fraction times millions and hundreds of millions, no longer is just a fraction. Who's getting that? Who's benefiting from that? It's those elites. It's the ones at the Fed. It's the politicians tied into that. All Federal Reserve banks shall not later than January 1st, 2021, make digital wallets available to all residents and citizens of the United States and to businesses located in the United States. So, I'll read that. All Federal Reserve banks shall not later than January 1st, 2021, make digital wallets available to all residents and citizens of the United States and to businesses domiciled in the United States, so located in the United States. That's how they're starting this thing, Federal Reserve banks. And it's going to dwindle down to community banks and just your private little town bank. It's going to be involved. It's going to be there. They always start huge and infiltrate as much as they can, and then sweeping up the crumbs and the other people, the other banks, it's just one of the things that just comes easy once the heavy lifting's done, which is what they're doing. So Federal Reserve banks shall partner with postal facilities to ensure access and availability to application and account services for all residents and citizens of the United States and to businesses domiciled in the United States, so located in the United States. So Federal Reserve banks shall partner with postal retail facilities. So the United States Postal Service is going to partner with the Federal Reserve. For everything they tell you, the Federal Reserve is not part of the government, even though they want you to think that. It's private banks, a group of private banks. And then they say the Federal Reserve, we've passed the act to keep an eye on the government, so they're not afflicted with the government. So they keep a watchful eye on what's best for the citizens, what's best for inflation, what's best for the money supply. They're not supposed to be one-on-one with the government, which they have been, years upon years. Now, Federal Reserve is going to be one with the United States Postal Service. What good is that? Last I heard, they're trying to convince me that the Postal Service isn't part of the government. It absolutely is, and I know that wasn't true, and this just proves otherwise. This rings a huge bell of socialism. This is how socialism really gets infiltrated and really begins to come in. I know they've talked about it, and there's been little things here and there. You attack medicine, you attacked money, functionality of monetary policies for the country. Next thing is the food, and I got a video. I'm going to do that real soon, so watch out for it. And so I just got to highlight that. I mean, you have a digital wallet, you have your digital dollar stored in there, and you will pay interest at a rate they see fit. You're going to pay interest on whatever you have in there, whatever they call it, the digital dollar, the federal digital dollar, the Fed dollar, Fed Now digits, whatever they call it. You're going to pay interest on that. You're going to pay interest. They say it right here. And they will not include overdraft fees, like I said. So, I mean, this is just a real quick read. I read over it. I was just like, I got to do a quick video to get this out there and get people aware of this so they can dig into it, a little more and see what's beneficial for themselves. As always, I have talked about preserving your wealth. And right now, my opinion, what I've done in my family is silver is a little more than it was the last time we spoke about the price of silver and what the rate's at in gold. But right now, they've dropped a little bit. And so right now, I'm seeing it as a huge buying opportunity, not to make tons of dollars, not to make a huge gain, but a huge buying opportunity to protect my wealth and to get out of the system as best as I can. Because they go digital like this, it's going to happen. I know they said no later than 2025, they want to be everything digital and no more cash, no more anything else but the digital dollar. It's cashless society. They're going there. It's happening. They're getting there. How are you going to get out of that? How am I getting out of it? Well, I'm trying to build up the assets. The gold and silver is really, really beneficial. It's an easy way to swap exchange with other citizens, other assets like I've talked about with land or anything else, paintings, anything else that's going to be desired. But also, you may want to think about, right now might be the time to buy seeds, buy freezer-dried foods, stuff that lasts 20, 40, 50 years, freezer-packed, and seeds. I can't emphasize seeds enough. I feel that's going to be a thing to exchange. It's going to have a value higher than it does now, because I feel there's going to be a strong arm with that and trying to shut that out. That's just my opinion. I know what's happened in other countries, and I'm pretty sure I know what next steps are. Best I can. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I know what I need to know to benefit myself and my family best. So how do you purchase gold and silver? Well, how do you purchase it? You find a dealer, get a relationship with them, and trust them. If you don't have one, if you just want to do it right now, I've trusted these guys. I've used these guys. jmbullion.com, goldsilver.com, bullionexchanges.com, appmex.com, itmtrading.com, and sdbullion.com. I'll put these links down there too. Also, should I wait till the price drops more? I don't think it's going to drop more or much more. If it does, that's just more of a buying opportunity. That means for me, because there's going to be a time there where switch is going to get hit, and pretty soon there's no going back. That's what always happens. It's always happens. It's better to be safe than sorry. Why do dealers sell gold and silver? I'll just get a little snippet there. I would always wonder this before I got involved in it years ago, is why, if gold and silver is worth so much and so much more valuable than cash or currency, why do dealers sell it? Well, dealers sell it because that's their business. That's how they eat and clothe themselves. That's how they survive, or their families, or whatever. That's their business. So they buy silver eagles from the mint, or wherever they get it from, for an amount, that's at melt price, maybe a hair over if it's like silver eagles or maple leaves. They get it, then they sell it for not much markup. The markup is minimal, but the markup's there. How do they survive? Is by that markup. That couple of dollars here and there, that extra dollar here and there, that adds up. That's how they survive. That's how their business stays alive. That's why they do it. That's why they sell it. They're involved in it because they enjoy it. They're interested in it. that's how they survive, is they sell it. And I don't believe, at least the ones I've talked to, keep the cash. What they do is they'll get the cash from you, they'll pay their taxes, buy what they need, that kind of stuff. Anything left over, they'll invest it again in gold, silver, whatever else they want to have. And then if there comes a time where they want to let some of it go in their shop or online or however they do commerce, they'll let some go, along with the extras that they constantly buy and purchase to have their store and business survive. So just think about that. I know this digital dollar is coming. We're right behind it. It's right here. So just think about that. When you're using cash, no one knows what you're buying, how much you're buying. No one says, you posted this thing I don't agree with, or you did this thing that I don't agree with. So I'm not going to allow you to buy this thing that you want to purchase. No one can say to you, if you're paying cash, no one can say to you, all right, well, I don't believe that you should be able to buy another gun. You've bought 3 guns this year, and I don't like the things you posted, so I don't feel you're going to be able to buy another firearm. So you go to the firearm store or your local gun shop, you go to buy something with this digital dollar, this Fed dollar, whatever they're calling it, and you can't get anything. It's useless there because they shut you off. Or even if they disagree with that whole business, even if they disagree with the whole firearms thing, for whatever reason, no one can use anything there if we're all digital. If we're not, you can still spend cash. If you want to barter, you can still barter. That's what I'm preparing for, is some sort of bartering situation that we're going to be forced into on some sort of level. So think about that. Like I said, always do what's best for yourself and your family. Stay vigilant. Protect yourself. Protect your health. Protect your wealth.